Denmark consistently ranks at the top of the list for democracy and for lack of corruption. It has the lowest unemployment in Europe, a population of 5 million people, and studies show that they're among the happiest people in the world. Not a bad place to live. Hello and welcome to Mission 360. I'm Gary Krause. Today's program is coming to you from Copenhagen, Denmark. Denmark has an extremely high standard of living. Danish people tend to live very well. And consistently in the sociological reports and studies, Danish people are rated among the happiest people in the world. But what's so great about living here? And how do Danish people define happiness?
We have a job, we have a welfare, social security, my account in the bank is okay.
There's nobody living at the really rock bottom of society. Everybody can get help, and
that you can get to the hospital for free. Yes.
We are very well provided for when we get old, like I am.
Studies show that fewer than 3 out of 10 Danes would consider themselves people who believe in God. But about half would say that there's some sort of spirit or life force in the universe. About a quarter would say there is definitely no God. And so while we would define the vast majority of people here as being agnostic or atheist, most would probably refuse that label. Why label something that is just so taken for granted? So if life is so great here and people are rich and increased with goods and feel as if they have need of nothing, how can the gospel possibly touch them? We'll look at that later in this program, but first up, let's go to Buenos Aires and visit a center of influence.
Increasingly, we see people leaving rural areas and entering major metropolises. Cities draw migrants with the promise of higher living standards, greater access to health care, more employment and opportunity. Although the urban setting offers many advantages, there are also the negative effects of urbanization. For example, pollution, violence, and stress are common struggles faced daily in the cities. People here also tend to work harder, sleep less, and pay little attention to family and health. In order to overcome some of these problems, the Seventh-day Adventist Church is establishing centers of influence to help people navigate through the challenges of the urban context. In Buenos Aires, Argentina, Centers of Influence offers a variety of activities to help the community eat better, choose wisely, and live more fully. Through stress management courses, stop smoking programs, physical and mental health training, the Adventist Church is connecting with the millions of people who live in Buenos Aires. The main goal of a center of influence is to follow how Jesus approached the cities of his time. Jesus encountered people with a genuine interest for their well-being. Why should we do it any differently? Located in the heart of large cities, centers of influence establish a presence in the community. Here, men and women make friends and engage in activities that will benefit body, mind, and soul. Health is one of the most important assets one can have. Much like anything else, health needs maintenance and nurturing to prosper. Through fun activities in the kitchen and interactive lessons, community members in Buenos Aires are learning to properly nourish their bodies. Today, the participants take note of delicious recipes made from nutritious ingredients that look as good as they taste. As they leave here, they receive gifts to take home and taste the flavor of healthful eating. Activities are happening all over Buenos Aires. There are several centers of influence in this city. The centers connect with different segments of society as each group has their own unique needs.
We have a group of young people that are helping urban dwellers. What do? They go out at night and build relationships with less favored people, homeless, abandoned people, and from this point they address needs that they have. They provide shelter, food, but above all, they give them love. They organize their center so that every week these new friends can come wash clothes, take showers, and eat a meal. In this manner, they can build strong friendships with them.
The poster at the door reads, "Stress, good or bad, learn how to control it in 3 days." Here in the heart of town is a center of influence that speaks to the upper classes of Buenos Aires. Guests are individually invited to seminars to learn to cope with stress. As expert presenters engage the audience with concepts to live a balanced lifestyle, people learn about the wonderful machine God created. Although there are different approaches, Christ's method has proved an effective tool to touch the physical and mental health of many people in Buenos Aires. And it does not stop here. As church members engage health-conscious individuals, homeless people in the street, hectic urban dwellers, and others, they have the opportunity to also teach spiritual themes from the Bible. Daniela Russo lives in Buenos Aires. As she walked home, she noticed a poster offering free Bibles. She saw a young man signing up to receive one. Daniela studies art and history, and she knew that a Bible could help her understand the history and philosophy of some paintings she had come across, so she signed up to receive a Bible in the mail.
Well, I waited, but the Bible didn't arrive, so I signed up a second time, but again it did not come. So I requested it again, and on this day, there were some girls here, so I told them that I would sit here with them until I received my Bible.
As Daniela impatiently waited for her free Bible, she met Ivan. In the last few days, she had been so distressed that she could not fall asleep for 4 straight nights. Ivan is the center coordinator here. He talked to Daniela and the girls about a God who can deal with all of our problems and give us victory over any challenge. Daniela listened attentively, but it wasn't until Pastor Ivan prayed with them that she felt peace. That night, Daniela went home and fell fast asleep. Daniela couldn't believe what had happened to her and continued to visit this center. Here she could learn more about the God who could give her peace. She was going through one of the toughest times of her life.
I cried a lot, but I had to cry. I had to heal. As we came to the study about baptism, I said yes. I made it through the Bible studies very quickly. We would get together twice a week, sometimes 3 times. The day I was baptized, I cried a lot. You see, I'm adopted. I don't know my parents. So when I went underwater, I felt that I was born again. I don't know how the first time was, but the second birth was the best.
Centers of influence are being used to share God's love on a global scale. As the size of the world's urban areas increase, our efforts and prayers should also be growing.
I'm at Happy Hand here in Copenhagen, Denmark, and I'm talking with Beard, who is the organizer, the visionary, the person caring for this initiative. And, you know, thanks for talking with us today, but one thing we know in a secular city like Copenhagen is nobody likes to be preached at, right? And so what we have here is a place that actually makes connections with the community.
Absolutely.
So I love the signage. Tell us a little bit about why you started this.
We were a group with the same visions. We wanted something new. I think there's a tendency to that we often have our churches for our own sake.
Yes.
Happy Hand is for others' sakes. We want to open a window from the church to show people who we are. That actually we are not some strange people, but we are caring and loving, and we want to share them God's love. So that's the reason Happy Hand started. We wanted to open a window and share God.
Fantastic, because so often we get stuck within the 4 walls of the church and we think that's our destination.
That's right.
But now you're connecting with community. And why did you start a shop?
Well, for I think around 20 years we have been working with social work in different ways. We've been working with health and with homeless people, and we thought that was a way to reach out, a good way to reach out and connect to people. And also you have the possibility to earn money for the poor people, earn money for the homeless, earn money you can give to different kind of projects. And that's amazing, and that's a very good working way to reach out. So you'll reach people and you'll also earn money for good things.
Wonderful.
So it's nice to have a mission project where you actually earn money.
Exactly. And the location here is central. How many people do you have coming through usually?
Well, once we counted how many people passed by here in half an hour, and it was in rush hour, and we counted around 1,000 people on this side of the road.
Wow.
So also on bikes, but it's a very crowded area.
Yeah.
It's with young people and it's with a lot of foreigners. It's a nice area to be in.
Yeah, it's just driving down here, you know, this is a place that is alive with people, a lot happening. Well, why don't you show us through the shop so that we can see what you're doing here after you? Oh no, at the front here,
We have a nice front, and we try to change the window once a week.
Okay.
So we can present new things and get people to come into the shop.
Good. What does this say on the wall?
Well, in this world, you might only be a human, but for a human, you can be a change to the world.
Ah, change to the world. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have a lot of clothes here.
Yeah, we are very lucky because we get a lot of clothes. In the beginning, we were quite worried if we would get enough clothes.
Yeah.
But we have really been blessed. Every day people will come in from the street and they'll give us clothes and things, and we are blessed.
Good. And this is a space where people can sit.
Yeah, that's a cafe.
Good.
And people are very welcome to sit down and enjoy life and talk with us. We have a lot of conversations here.
Good.
And they can take literatures.
And they look very happy in happy hands.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
And they can take something to drink and eat.
It's all very attractively presented. Okay. So a lot of household items and a little bit of furniture and.
Yeah, a lot of clothes. We really have a lot of clothes.
That's the main thing, yeah.
Yeah, but also furniture and also things for the kitchens and fine things for the home.
Very nice. Now, what's this little room out the back here?
Yeah, actually, I will show you this little table here first, because this is a table where you can put a prayer in this box, and people do it. We'll receive wishes for prayers.
So what does this sign say?
Oh, this is remember that you're loved. But here we write that if you want a prayer for something in your life, put a little note in the box and we'll pray for you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Okay, and this here? So this is used for?
Yes, this is used for personal conversations. The pastors in the shop can use it for conversations and for prayers, just where you can have a time alone.
And there's actually a pastor who is half time here.
Yes.
To care for the spiritual side. What other activities do you have?
We have a lot of different activities connected to the shop. Then we can reach a lot of different people. Yes. Every second Sabbath we'll meet and have a Bible brunch where we'll eat together and just read the Bible and pray. We have had a lot of theme nights. We have studied evolution and creation, and actually we also have had a lot of our young people in the church who are very interested in that theme.
Good.
We have had theme nights for for couples and for parents. And we also have a theme night, we call it Spiritual Wellness. And you can get your massage and your feet in hot water, and you can be prayed for, and a lot of different things will happen there.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing with us. Viewers at home, pray for Happy Hand. It is a centre of influence here in the heart of Copenhagen, not just working for the community, but working with the community. We have a lot more coming up right after this break.
Welcome. I'm looking forward to introducing you to our guest today, Dorothy Brenwald, and we're going to get a little bit acquainted with her and find out about some of her earliest mission memories. Now, Dorothy, we've been chatting a little bit,
Yes.
and you were telling me that a little more than 60 years ago, you met your husband, who was a doctor at that time.
Yes.
And you were an OR nurse, is that correct?
Yes, that is.
Tell me how things happened.
Well, I worked in the hospital. I worked in surgery, and Art Bergman was working in surgery also. He's a doctor. And one day he asked me if I'd like to go on a picnic with him and his family. And I said yes, and he said, "Do you mind if Lillian brings her brother?" So I figured he must be about 12 years old or something like that, I don't know. And when they came to get me and I saw Fred driving the car, I said, "Oh, he's the little brother." I didn't know that, so.
And you had no idea that he was going to be your future husband?
I had no idea at all. No.
Well, what kind of adventures did you have? I mean, did you plan to live in the United States forever?
Oh, I did. I
did,
yes. Oh, yes. I was a Pennsylvania girl, and I came down to Washington, D.C., and I probably would have thought I would stay there forever.
And,
I didn't know.
And Dr. Brenwald had some other ideas,
He had
correct?
some other ideas. He told me once when we were dating that he said, "I would love to be a missionary doctor in Africa." And I thought that was wonderful. I said, "I hope that you get to do that."
Did you ever imagine you might
I
go
never
to?
dreamed in a million years that I would ever go to Africa.
Well, how long had you been married before you went over to Cameroon?
Probably about 11 months, because we celebrated our first anniversary in Belgium. He was taking tropical medicine.
So you were newlyweds when you went there?
We were newlyweds, yes.
Well, that must have been quite an adjustment to go so far away from home.
It was, but it was nice.
Yeah.
I've always liked to travel. I just didn't know if I'd ever would.
Now, were you the first doctor and nurse to go to this area in Koza,
Yes.
Cameroon?
Yes, we were.
So you were starting a dispensary from scratch?
Yes. There was nothing there except one little thatched roof house with 3 rooms.
So how did people find out that you were there and that you were there to help them?
Well, Mr. Bergstrom, who was a Swede, he was there for about 2 years before with his wife, and unfortunately his wife died. And he was left alone. And he always had big aspirations for Koza. He thought it was a beautiful place, and he wanted to develop it. So
And so then you and Dr. Brenwald went there,
we went
and
there.
you started to set up for your first patients, correct?
Well, we did. We had a gasoline drum, which we turned upside down, and we had quinine and aspirin, and I cut up one of my bed sheets, and we waited for people to come.
And do you remember the first couple of patients that came?
I fortunately don't with all of them, but I know that after maybe a day or two, there was a young boy who came who's about 14 years of age, and he asked us if we needed some help with the translation of the language, and so that made it easier for us.
That would be a big difference.
Yes, we did learn the language, but not right then.
There must have been kind of an adjustment at first, trying to get people to trust you.
They didn't trust us when we had our first dispensary. They insisted on being treated out front on the veranda.
Outside.
They were afraid to come in.
Yeah.
They didn't know what we would do to them.
So would they have their family around them when
yes, they always
came
had their
to
family.
visit?
Always somebody, at least a member of the family.
Yes. Well, you have spoken very fondly of the people that you worked with there. What do you remember the most about the people from Cameroon?
Well, first of all, they're tall and straight, and they look healthy, even though many of them do become sick. But they're just they're a solid, honest type people, and I just loved them from the first day I got there.
And you spent how long there in that country?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Your children were born there?
Yes, they were all born there.
What was it like when the first foreign baby was born there? Was there a lot of curiosity?
Yes, there was. She was the first white baby born there, and so when I had her, somebody made me a little baby coach, one of the Africans, and when I was walking, and while there were about 35 women behind me, I thought, oh, if my friends could see this, they wouldn't believe it. And then they asked me, if I fed my baby by nursing, and I said, yes, I did, and they cheered, and they asked me why I didn't carry her on my back, and I said, well, I just don't know how to do that, and that's not my custom, so they understood.
Dorothy, what would you say to someone who might be considering mission service?
I would say go and enjoy yourself and do everything you can to help them, and you will receive many rewards.
And it's worth it, you say?
It's definitely worth it. I would go. We had actually talked of going back, but the children were in school and then they got their jobs. But I would love to go back. I would love to go back and just see it again. And just.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that you have many, many happy memories from your service there. And I want to thank you for sharing some of those memories with us. And I know that the work has grown and it is still functioning there in COSA.
It is.
So we want to thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Gary.
Urban centers of influence provide channels of Christ's love into the community. They provide opportunities for us to show holistic love to people and help lead them to Jesus Christ. Let's visit a center of influence in Trinidad.
Not far from these tranquil waters, Seventh-day Adventists in Trinidad have opened a small Life Hope Center that is touching lives in the surrounding community. In the past, people of this South Asian community have had little or no contact with Seventh-day Adventists. But now, through this center of influence, Adventists are reaching out as neighbors and showing God's love in tangible and practical ways.
Life Hope Center is one of those ways that we can share that to the community by building bridges and helping people how to live a healthier life, how to be free from lifestyle diseases, and find peace and happiness.
Working with people in the community, the center has held several health seminars and screenings in people's homes and yards. The center is offering computer and Spanish language classes. One popular program is the after-school homework program. Volunteer teachers work with small groups of students to improve their skills in subjects such as writing and math. This program gives children a place to go after school before their parents get home from work, where they can have a snack and get help with their homework. The volunteers like knowing that they could be making a lasting difference in the lives of these children.
And it is amazing, at least to me, the number of broken homes that are out there. And the children, you see them happy, you see them bubbly, but they come with all of that behind them.
I just love the art of helping children. And doing the psychology course, I remember learning that every single child needs to be listened to. Now, we would tend to all the different needs, and sometimes we tend to forget that they just need to be listened to.
The center also offers a counseling service for people in the community who are facing challenges in their lives. Nirupa has a degree in counseling and is the facilitator for counseling at the center.
A lot of people need help, and going through the rigors of daily living, family life, personal relationships, work life, there are lots of stressors. And some, well, most more than others can't cope. And because of their ability to not cope, you have these problems coming out and it affects other aspects of their lives.
Nirupa spends time at the center, talks with people in the community, and helps individuals cope with life's challenges.
And this is what counseling does. We help them identify the issues and how they can resolve them to live more enriched lives.
Please remember the Trinidad Life Hope Center and others like it around the world in your prayers as they reach out to help people in their communities.
The fact that you're there to be a role model for a child, and all children need grooming, and teaching is the best way to help a child to grow up into who he or she should be.
And so you can see, well, they say that learning brings about a change of behavior, and you can actually see that change of behavior from week to week, and you know that you're making a difference in their life.
God loves the people in the city. His power is sufficient for the countless millions in the urban areas. As you think of mission, pray specially for the work happening in the cities with 1 million plus citizens. Thank you for your support of mission.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's 360-degree view of mission around the world, from the history and culture of Copenhagen, Denmark, to the sheer excitement and passion of Buenos Aires, to more rural areas in the Cameroon where Adventist hospitals are touching thousands of lives. We see that the light of God's love is touching the hearts of men and women, boys and girls. I hope you'll continue to pray for mission around the world, and thank you so much for your financial support that does make a difference. Before we go, I'd like to offer you a free giveaway. It's an Adventist Mission tote bag. It's just a small thing, but it's a daily reminder to pray for mission. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, and I hope you can join me next time right here on Mission 360.